Y'all, today we need to talk about something in test room that could be straight up disastrous. I don't care what y'all's opinion of me on exaggerating various circumstances are. This very much, in my opinion, could be disastrous. If y'all don't know, in test room right now, they are rolling out like a bazaar revamp. And on the surface, it looks not just harmless, but actually really good, right? They have new ways to categorize whether you're buying and selling and what items. They even added a backpack buddy feature. And this basically lets you customize certain categories of things to sell right from your backpack to the bazaar, right? You could sell things with an off-school requirement if you don't, if you can never wear that gear and it's auctionable. You can sell stuff that you have tons of copies of. You could sell things like empty decks that don't have treasure cards in them. They even made a thing like where you could customize a level requirement below you, so you could basically just sell stuff that's no longer useful to you way below level. This stuff is really, really cool. However, it is greatly outshadowed by an extremely negative aspect of this bazaar revamp. You see, with this update, they actually changed the number of a unique item that the bazaar can hold. This is extremely relevant because basically right now in live realm, right? Let's say that, you wanted to buy something. The maximum amount of things you could buy from the bazaar was only 100. Now it looks like the cap has been raised to 999. And another maybe lesser known fact, the more items in the bazaar, the less the thing is worth. So when you go from, for example, let's take empowers, right? Let's say you go from a maximum amount of 100 empowers in the bazaar to 1,000. If there truly are enough empowers to reach that 1,000 limit, selling an empower is way more worthless than it currently is right now. Right now in live realm, even if there was a maximum amount of empowers in the bazaar, I would still be able to sell my empower treasure card for 800 gold. Now, with about 500, not even the full amount of empowers, which will end up happening when the market gets flooded by these are going to be borderline worthless. And as if everyone that uses empowers for gold is already not like in a whole lot of trouble, this also applies to snacks, which I think this is ludicrous, by the way. Meaning, right, let's say that you have snacks that you get a lot of from gardening, right? Like, let's take couch potatoes. This is something that people will farm ages for just so that they can get mega snacks to make pets. And how do they get the gold to make these pets? By selling the extra snacks that they get. Things like Shanta puddings, golden pizzas, killer tomato. You already see in test realm where gold is literally not even real. The bazaar has been flooded by these. I'm sure I don't need to say this for anybody who actually plays the game at any sort of regular basis. Selling things like snacks and treasure cards is basically the best way to get gold in Wizard101 right now. It's the only passive way to actually be rewarded for gardening other than simply just the mega snacks that you're getting. And this is not the type of change that just lowers the value of things that are already in your inventory. Things that people have grinded for, like these gardens. I farmed for days, if not weeks, to get these gardens. Now every mature harvest, every elder harvest, everything that I get from this from now on is just worthless. And let me not get too far into this rant of a video without making another point very clear. If your response to this is, oh, I don't have gardens, I could just gold farm. Like, I could just farm a halfang. But a lot of people, they farm various mobs to get drops that sell for a lot. Guess what? Those drops are also gonna flood the bazaar and they're gonna be worth nothing as well. That's what I used to do. I used to sell the little amulet from, winter toss that you farm for. I guarantee to you, if this affects snacks and TCs, this will affect everything. And I know for a fact that if I'm someone with full-ass gardens on multiple wizards, if I know that gold is gonna be way harder for me to get, imagine all the regular players that want to even attempt to do something like make a pet, right? Let's say that you encounter someone in the hatchery and they're generous as hell. I've actually encountered this, and they want to help you make a pet. They're willing to give you empowers to sell for gold to make the pet. That's a very normal and casual interaction that's probably healthy for the community building of this game that will no longer exist with this update. I don't know how we got here, but somehow a quality of life update, which is something that makes a lot of natural sense to add into the game, like a bazaar revamp. In the long term, this probably only hurts players. That probably only hurts community building. This is gonna have huge implications on large parts of the community that interact within and outside the game that use things like empowers, which are relatively expensive TC. It's gonna affect their ability to do all kinds of things that probably just make the community more vibrant at the end of the day. I do have some issues with the way the rise of this empower black market has work. For one, people bought the bazaar in live realm. This is something that doesn't really get brought up in conversation a lot, but it's fine in my opinion. If treasure cards that are tradable and, you know, you trade within your own volition, like if those have value, I think that's fine. But the second they operate in an economic situation where someone can just use a bot to, like, you know, like harvest and powers out of the bazaar and they're the ones winning, I think that gets really, really iffy. It's also especially bad when, let's say someone wants to help another person without trading. Let's say that I want to give someone like reagents, like, I don't know, like sunstone or something to craft a spell, right? If someone's botting sunstone, that's a problem, right? I have issues with the way the current bazaar works that I would have loved a quality of life update to address. But at no point during the rollout of this bazaar did they need to increase the number of copies of any one item the bazaar could hold. Now, outrage aside, let's talk about the core issue at hand from a developer standpoint. I've heard them actually use this terminology on KI lives and stuff like that. I think they have a way of looking at resources in Wizard101 like a faucet and a sink. And right now, the faucet is gigantic and the sink is clogged. That means everyone's hoarding a bunch of things to keep a lot of gold, like empowers, like other things like that. Now, the normal response to this would be to unclog the damn sink so it doesn't keep overflowing. What they've decided to do is reduce the faucet, and that blows my mind. That's like such a fundamental difference in how the solution should work. Give us more stuff to spend the excessive gold we have instead of limiting our ability to get the gold in the first place. I can already tell you right now that gold heavy activities, especially, I'm looking right at pet trade. This update just makes something that was already annoying harder. I can't see any way where something like pet trading, which is something that a lot of people have an issue with, I can't see how this quality of life update makes the quality of that feature better. At least in the past, when they do things like this, there's a trade-off, like, oh yeah, maybe something's harder to get, but maybe that increases the value of, like, you know, the player grinding for it. There's none of that here. This is literally just punishing people for playing the game in a certain way. Like, as long as things are actually fair, there should never be an issue with selling your snacks at a reasonable price from your gardens, or selling empowers to get gold so maybe you can either help someone or help yourself. These aren't fundamentally unhealthy for the game, so I don't understand why they're going this route. I have to talk about this because I genuinely think if this doesn't affect you, it will at some point, and I have a great feeling that a lot of people, especially anybody that just uses gold in Wizard101, will care about this. I might have just used empowers and, like, you know, snacks as like, you know, like an example, but any item that you've ever sold in bulk, reagents, TCs, snacks, anything that you did for gold is now a much worse method for you to get what is a scarcity in Wizard101. I hope that they rethink this. I really, really hope that if they're gonna do this, they look at all the other things that cost way too much gold, because officially things are out of balance. Let me know what you guys think about this. If you didn't know about it, let me know what your opinions are on this bazaar change. Obviously, I love the actual, like, backpack buddy and the filters. I love that. I'm glad that they did that. But if it's at the cost of me actually being able to spend gold, I don't really see the point. I look forward to reading all of y'all's thoughts and comments on this. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Leave a sub if you're new. And if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong. Stay awesome. See y'all soon. And yeah.